All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar. I am so excited to be in the presence of Becky and Cash. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. We put this out about a week ago that we were going to interview Cash and his mom, Becky. And we're just super excited to bring this story to you because it's been a couple of months that I had reached out to Becky. She and I were talking about she and her husband's wellness journey. And I knew that Cash was diagnosed with a sensory disorder. And so I said, you know, Becky, I have something that I think that you might be interested in. Take it how you want to, but I need to share it with you because I know something that's really helping kids, and it's helping a lot of people, but kids too. And I was wondering if you'd just be open to that. And so Becky, you know, I've known Becky most of her life, if not all her life. I think most of her life anyway. We decided I was her school teacher, but I remember her as a little girl. And I've always loved Becky. Her mom and I were super good friends at work. And you just want people to be happy. You want people to have quality life. And that's what I want for Becky. When I reached out to her, she had asked me about a 24-day jumpstart that I was doing, a group that I was doing. And she said, I really want to know about that. And so that led us into another conversation because she and her husband rocked it. They've changed their lifestyle. She's going to share with you a little bit about how that helped Cash as well. But anyway, I just had to answer that text real quick. LaDon told me she could see both of us. So that's awesome. Yeah. And so anyway, you know, one thing that led to another. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, you know, Becky, what made you reach out to me in the beginning, even before we talked about Cash?
Well, you know, we own a farm and we were exhausted. My husband and I, we were just exhausted. We weren't sleeping. We just felt terrible. And I had watched a video you had done about pillars, about putting your main pillars together. And because when parents are tired, our kids struggle because we're not able, especially because we just have to be more involved, especially with Cash. We just need to be more involved. And we were just too tired. And I watched the pillar deal. And that made me reach out to you. God, that was like in December, I think, is when I was like, we had just tanked out. You know, we'd been home for months. Everybody was exhausted. We were just ready for a change. And we knew better, right? Like my husband and I knew better, but we just needed somebody who we trusted, which was really hard. Somebody we trusted to say, we're going to do this and you can do this. And once we got started in January, then I was like, you know what, we need to get back on our healthy eating habits and we need to get back to doing all those pieces. And so that's really what prompted the original reach back out to you for some help and some coaching, because I trusted you. I'd known you my whole life. So I trusted you to be able to help us.
Well, and I can remember, you know, I love all of the messages I've been getting. And I thought, oh, the world needs to hear these messages. They're too cool. But I do remember one of the pictures that you sent me was of Cash with a plate full of vegetables. And you just said how much better. Yeah, it was an awesome picture, Cash. And you're so dang handsome. Anyway, I remember that you just said this whole eating regimen that we have, because we're not just grabbing whatever and fixing, has really helped the kids and it really helped Cash. So we know that if the pillars of wellness of sleep, nutrition, exercise, hydration, being able to control our stress helps us, it absolutely should help our children. And so then, you know, I knew that you had talked about how Cash was doing with the nutrition, how much that helped him. That's when you shared with me what was going on. So could you tell us a little bit about Cash's diagnosis?
So
and when that happened?
Okay. So when we started this journey, from the time Cash was little, he seemed to operate kind of outside the box. And of course, like he was my first child, so I didn't know. And we sent him to preschool and he really struggled. And they were actually like, you know, you might haven't tested, he might be autistic. And so I was like, oh, okay. You know, like what? So we did a bunch of testing and it came back that he had sensory processing disorder. And actually a fabulous friend of mine who I will forever be grateful for. Kind of like you, stepped into my life right at the right time. And her specialty is children with sensory processing. So she stepped in, helped us, gave us therapy tools, gave us all kinds of stuff to be able to help Cash progress with this. So this is just life for us. We don't know any different. And so we've been doing this life for almost 15 years now. And so it's just kind of been one of those pieces that we've just kind of grown with and worked at. And we're always trying to figure out the best way to not even to manage, but to benefit Cash and for everybody, because he's 15. We're getting to that point where we are thinking about what life looks like for him beyond high school.
Right. Well, and you said he's 15 and he gave you a funny look. He'll be 15 on
almost
July 5th.
15.
Right. July 5th, the day after I turned 56 on July 4th. So we'll celebrate together. I'm really old, Cash. Well, anyway,
you're never old unless you want to be.
Oh gosh, see all the lessons you're teaching me. I just appreciate that. Well, listen, I think that it's just important that I was a school teacher for 26 years. I knew a lot of kids that had the same situation as Cash, that they just all they wanted was just a little bit of a break to be able to enjoy things just a little bit more. So where we were when this, when I reached out to you, when we talked about this, Becky, was a couple months ago. Cash was dealing with some things, and I'm going to ask Cash what some of his struggles were. Cash, before you started taking the supplements and stuff, do you remember some of the things you were struggling with?
Okay, first I was struggling with focusing, staying concentrated, getting my schoolwork done, which was kind of a hassle. And fourth, I just jacked around a lot instead of doing my school. My school is supposed to take like a couple of minutes, but to me it took me a whole hour to do my schoolwork. and the fifth thing is I had trouble because my brain, because I have these tiny little brain chattering things in my head. So that's what my life has been before trying the supplements and the act.
So when you talk about brain chatter, Cash, can you kind of tell me what you mean by that? Like, and you've had that all your life?
So I hear voices in my head, like movies. Yeah, like movies, TV shows. So yeah, that's what I mean by brain chatter.
I got that. So if you're doing,
just keep playing constantly through my head.
Right. So if you're trying to do your math homework and you're hearing a movie in your head, it's really hard to concentrate, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So did your mom talk to you at all about what we had talked about before you took it? Or did she just come up to you one morning and say, here's some pills, I want you to take this? Do you remember how it all happened? Did she talk to you about it?
Well, she wanted me to test out my focusing with those things, and it was a Wednesday before I went to PSAS, my enrichment thing in Pueblo West. So I took those. Bang! I made a huge impact. I stayed focused in school, did all that, stayed on the task at hand, and from that day forward, I was a focusing school busting machine.
That's awesome to be a focusing school busting machine, man, because I want to be that way. I want to be that way in what I do. Do you take any other kind of medicine or anything like that, Cash?
Nope.
And so this is the only thing that changed. This is the only thing that you did different. And all of a sudden, did the brain chattering, what happened with the brain chattering?
It just stopped in its tracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's got it. So then you told me before everybody got on, before we started recording this, you told me a story about how you get your work done now. Like, can you tell everybody else what you said to me about that?
Okay. So before I started the Axio and the supplements, my brain was a bit kind of off-centered. And so basically my brain would be going this way, that way, all over the place. So
What's it do now?
So after I took the Axio and my supplements, I was actually a focusing school busting machine. No, seriously, I could get my school done in 5 minutes. Each subject done in 5 minutes straight.
And I know that about you because your mom told me right away, because we never know if it's going to change anything, because here's the thing, we aren't going to claim to cure, treat, mitigate any kind of disease or anything. This is just hopefully to help you, to support you with what you're doing. And so we don't know, because everybody's different, right, Cash? We're all different. I'm different. You're different. You react differently than other people, but
no one's the same.
Exactly. And that's our superpower, when we're not the same as anybody else.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I thought was so cool is your mom reached out to me and she said, this might be strange, but it's so early. I didn't expect. And Becky, you want to chime in here a little bit about.
So it was nuts. And because like I said, I've known Sandy my whole life, or you would never share this with anybody else. Mm-hmm. Cash was doing laundry. We had not been doing this for very long. And my kids are responsible for doing their own laundry. And usually that is like a day process. Like one load for Cash is like a day and a marathon. And one time I asked him how long it was going to take. And his exact response was, Mom, only Jesus knows. And I thought, this is, I mean, it was just a long, exhausting process. And when I messaged you, he had washed, dried, folded, hung up, put away, and organized his clothes in from the time they got out of the dryer till he was done in less than an hour. I was blown. I was like, oh, we're hooked.
And I will tell you,
I don't care about anything else.
My mom was tripping out, Sandy, tripping out.
That's nothing better than making your mom trip out, dude. I'm telling you.
And I really was. And then it was 2 days later, he's like, oh, Mom, I have a report due for school. And he got on his computer and just went to working on it. Mm-hmm. And he's copying and looking and researching. And I've always had to just sit at the table with him to keep him on task. I work next to Cash, and that's just how it's always been. He just went to, just by himself, and he worked. It was 7:30 at night, which was crazy for us.
I remember getting the picture, and I remember distinctly because I was sitting in so many parent-teacher conferences with so many parents who would have done anything to have that kind of thing happen. And so when you would say, I know this seems small, it never seems small to me, Becky, because I know what it does for the entire family. And I always say you're only as happy as your saddest child. And when you see your child struggle, you struggle. And so again, this is why I wanted to share this with everyone. And of course I got another couple messages, and I don't know if you can remember all of the things that you've told me, because there's such a wide range, Becky, but I know you've never medicated him. I know
never. That was something, and the other thing is, of course, Cash is blessed enough to have 4 parents instead of 2. And so all 4 of us are amazingly on board with this. And we had decided, his dad and I had decided early on that medication was really not something we were interested in. We were really, and we homeschooled to help with some of these pieces, but really that was something we were never interested in. We've always just wanted to be able to help him through his diet, through, we don't do electronics. We don't do a lot of things that some are more normal in some homes because it's not helpful for Cash. So the supplements and the Axio has just been the cherry on top of a cake that we've been building for years. And it's with puberty onsetting, it's just been that much of a great, that much more helpful.
I can't believe she said the word. Oh man, geez.
Mom.
It's true, because it was making a difference in his behavior and in his brain.
Absolutely. So Becky, you know, I know people are going to wonder what made you make that decision, and then what is it that Cash is actually taking, and how did you go straight in, or did you take half a dose, or they're going to want to know those things. So why don't you go ahead and just share, because I don't want to make it like I'm leading you into anything, and just kind of share what it is that made you say, I'm doing this, and what you started with and where you're at now.
Well, I mean, if you've ever been around children who struggle, right, you'll do anything. And so of course, I trusted you so much with my husband and I's health journey. And so it was really easy when you're like, let's just try it. And I trusted you enough that I literally was like, okay, like I didn't do any research. I didn't pull anything up. Because I've been doing this, I'm tired. I'm tired of researching. You're tired of hoping. And I'm like, we'll try it. If Sandy says it'll help. And one of the things that you said that was so important was like, if it doesn't, we're not any worse off, but you've at least tried. Like, it totally was like, oh, this is going to make everything so much better. You're like, try it. So we did. And you sent us a starter pack for Cash. And it was almost 2 weeks worth is what you sent while we were working on getting our order. And we started with, originally it had, it was the packets that came, and there was 4 like packets, and you helped me say like he gets 1 decaf Axio a day in the mornings, and then he does half of a NRF2 or the yellow pill, and then he takes just 1 of the NRF ones. So that's what he's taking in the morning, and then an omega is the other thing that he's taking in the morning.
Nice.
So it's really simple. I mean, it's just, he has it with breakfast. We sit down, I make a homemade breakfast, and he takes the supplements, and it's not a lot. And because he's still just taking half a dose, he's not taking a full dose. So that for us is worked out well. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And that's why we got started. And literally the result, I started noticing a difference within probably 3 to 4 days.
Well, and Cash said it himself. He said the Axio tastes really good. And here's something for people. It doesn't have caffeine. My 4-year-old grandson takes the exact same dosage as Cash does. And so, you know, I think I did tell you, if you would sprinkle Italian seasoning on your food, this is probably as safe, but we always recommend that you talk to your doctor if that's what you want to do. I don't know if you did that, because I know you don't have a whole lot of doctors involved with Cash.
We have, no, and I have our pediatrician who is involved is amazing. And he's super supportive of what we're doing with Cash and what we're trying with Cash. And so we've really been, I'm really blessed with that. Oh, my battery's running low. Hold on, we're going to plug in real quick.
Okay. That's fine. And what I'm impressed with is just sitting here, and those of us with children that we know have had these issues. You take a look at Cash sitting here with us, and you're frozen right now, Becky. So I'm guessing it's gonna get better in a minute. But if all of you guys have noticed, Cash's engagement with what we've been saying. And when he was listing his 5 things, that's a difficult thing for kids to do sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to see if we can unfreeze Becky. She might have to log back in. Let's see. I'm going to see if, yeah. I'm going to tell her to log back in quick. So anyway, oh, there she is. So I might have to promote her to panelist again. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Sorry, guys. There she is. Okay. And then we'll just need you to turn your video back on, Becky, if you can. There you go. There you are.
Sorry. Or my computer was fully charged, and then it just came up and was like, "You're dead."
It's okay. It's okay. So what I was saying while you guys were off camera is what I'm really impressed with is Cash's engagement throughout all of this.
Yeah.
That he's totally focused, totally engaged in the conversation. And so I guess, Cash, if you had any advice to give to a parent like your mom who had a child who was going through some of the things that you were going through before, the hard to focus, the brain chatter, the just dilly-dallying and not staying on track, what would you tell somebody if they had a child who had those situations like you? What would you say to them about trying this?
Never give up. Try and try again until you succeed and eat and accomplish your goal.
You need to be a motivational speaker, young man. You are awesome. So I just, I can't tell you how happy I am. I can't tell you enough that I'm glad this is working for you. And I'm really grateful that you came on and shared your story, Cash, because if I wouldn't have told your mom about this, you guys wouldn't know about it. And if you wouldn't have come on tonight, when there's some people watching and you wouldn't have told your story, they wouldn't know about it. So it's really important that we spread the word about this, because again, maybe it could support somebody, maybe it could make them feel better, and maybe they could rock school like you're totally rocking the whole focus. What is it that you say to me?
That I'm a focused school busting machine.
Oh yeah, man, a focused school busting machine. I won't forget it again. Well, Cash, Becky, thank you so much. Again, it's so important that you share the stories. We're so happy for you. And we'll be watching for you on stage, Cash, to be that motivational speaker and just keep busting out everything great. Okay?
All right. Well, and I have to say too, if parents just like, even if you've tried 101 other things, try this. Just try it. I mean, we have nothing to lose. As parents, we're fighting for our kids. We're fighting every day, and we have nothing to lose. And it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it, because if it works, it'll change everybody's life in your home for the better. And it changes your kid's life. And you get to see, it's like knowing what was there just gets to come to the surface. And so just try it. Don't be afraid to try it. Just try it. Yeah. Because look, he'd have never made it through one of these before. It'd have been like 30 seconds, right? I had to tie him to the chair. So this is awesome.
Yeah. Hey, you're awesome, dude. We're really proud of you and happy for you. Can't wait till you turn 15.
Oh boy, driving.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that might be something you never even would have considered before. So
no. Well,
listen, guys, I know those of you who are watching, who are in the group or watching the webinar, somebody invited you to this webinar tonight. Please get back to that person and ask them how you can get activated or get your child activated. And if you don't have somebody to reach out to, please reach out to me. We're happy that you're here, and we appreciate the time you've taken tonight to listen to Cash and Becky, and we hope you all have a great week. Good night, everyone.
May God be with you.
Absolutely. Amen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.